And even if what Joe did was self-serving, which I'm sure, it probably in the long run, you'll see that it was, he'll, probably be running for office or something, but he still did it. He still was willing to give up that position and say, not only should we not go to war with Iran, but that Israel is the bane of our existence. So credit where credit is due for saying that. But of all
I'm a little confused about something. I'm sorry. So his first wife was killed. Is that what it is? His first wife was, and now he's married to a woman who's been a reporter for the Gray Zone.
Yeah.
That's an interesting switch.
It is. Hey,
that's an interesting evolution.
It is, but that's why we're living through revolutionary change. Now, I'm sure most of you know that he did give an exclusive interview to Tucker Carlson, and there's a lot of things that were discussed. But of all the things that I think were relevant, of all the topics that were relevant to this moment that we're in right now, and why it's imperative we do not take our foot off the gas, it is this.
Knew each other, and the last time I saw Charlie Kirk on this earth was in June, in the West Wing, in the stairway. And I said hi to him, and he looked me in the eye, and he said very loudly, and it's a small, you've been in the West Wing, it's small, it's a tight space. And he said, Joe, stop us from getting into a war with Iran.
Now, if anybody still wonders whether or not there is a conspiracy surrounding the removal of Charlie Kirk, you have a man who was the director of counterintelligence when Charlie was assassinated. And he is telling you that we were in the West Wing together, and this was the last time I saw Charlie alive. And what did he say? Joe, please save us from war with Iran. These puzzle pieces keep fitting together ever so effortlessly that you can't help but determine that something very unsettling happened with that assassination.
Agreed, Sonny. Agreed.
Yeah. She has an opportunity
to
salvage whatever is left of her career if she walks now.
It's too late. She would have here's the problem, is to me, she had to walk the minute this started based on the fact that she just testified, what was it, a year or so ago, a couple years, when was that? Was a year ago.
Hold on. She was just there in front of the committee the other day.
No, but I mean, when she originally testified like a year or so ago saying that there's no intelligence to suggest that Iran has, picked up their nuclear weapons program or has advanced their, nuclear program. And then as soon as then Trump was questioned about, well, wait a minute, Tulsi Gabbard had said, and he said, well, I don't care what she said. As soon as he said that, as soon as Trump dismissed her, that's when she needed to resign to retain any amount of credibility and sort of any strength. She has no dignity left. As soon as he completely discredited her to the entire friggin' world, and she sat there and never came out and has basically been in hiding until now her next in command had the balls to resign, she's done. I'm just saying there's nothing she's going to do now.
Yeah, and it's a bad look because she's trying to straddle the fence. She doesn't want to throw Joe under the bus, which she didn't, but she also will not challenge Trump, which makes her look weak, which she is. If she, and now listen, one thing I will say in defense of her that you're not going to give her this much grace. Joe just resigned yesterday. He just stepped away.
Doesn't matter. If she wanted to salvage her reputation and her credibility, she would have resigned a long time ago, and certainly before him. So at this point, anything she does say or do is only in a response or reaction to him, and just as like her running around and doing crisis control. Not because she really gives a shit. If she really gave a shit, the minute Trump dismissed her, she would have left.
Winter Walsh, she is weak because she is power hungry. That's the point. She's not strong. She's not courageous to say, I'm going to step away because it's the right thing to do. And wherever the chips fall, they will fall. Instead, in her mind, it's, well, I really don't want to lose this position because it's a position of power. Oh, it'll be a lot of
But here's the thing, Tulsi, it isn't a position of power. If you had any power, then what you said would have mattered, but it didn't. So what she's interested in isn't power, it's title and prestige. She doesn't have real power. So I don't know what she thinks she's salvaging. As far as I'm concerned, she has completely ruined all credibility with me. This is
Meanwhile, Joe Kent is sitting down with Tucker Carlson and letting the cat straight out of the bag regarding his position regarding Charlie Kirk's assassination, which is Israel did it, is basically what he's saying.
Very loudly.
He was single-minded.
And he walked off and he went, I believe, into the Oval. So when one of President Trump's closest advisors, who is vocally advocating for us to not go to war with Iran and for us to rethink at least our relationship with the Israelis, and then he's suddenly publicly assassinated and we're not allowed to ask any questions about that, it's a data point. It's a data point that we need to look into.
What do you mean?
And it's interesting to me that somebody who worked for national security wouldn't have any sort of better knowledge or information as to why wasn't that further investigated and why wasn't that prosecuted. I mean, I understand this isn't the Justice Department, but you're talking about something that could have been declared an act of terrorism when Charlie Kirk was assassinated, and in many cases would be assigned a label of terrorism, which it probably would have been if they, had a way to pin it on brown people. But somebody like this, I would think, would be all over acts of terrorism like that. So I think this is all very interesting, very suspect.
I agree. And again, he is saying what I think a lot of people would want to say, but can't say. And he's saying it. He's saying that not only was Charlie assassinated and it was a planned assassination, but there was a concerted effort to cover it up. And they did cover it up. But now some of the shield is being pierced, and that's good.
When you say we're not allowed to ask any questions about that,
we've been told that this individual, Robinson, is a lone gunman, and maybe he is. But the investigation of the National Counterterrorism Center was a part of, we were stopped from continuing to investigate. And the FBI will say that they stopped that because they wanted to turn everything over to the Utah state authorities. Everything's going to trial. It's very, very sensitive. But there was still a lot for us to look into that I can't really get into. But there was still linkage for us to investigate that we needed to run down. And I'm not making any conclusions. I'm not saying
no, I don't think you are.
Because of this happened. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying there's unanswered questions. We know the pressure because of the text messages that have been made public that Charlie was under a lot of pressure from a lot of pro-Israel donors. And again, we know Charlie was advocating to President Trump against this war with Iran.
Okay, so again, if this was what this guy thought, where has he been since, when was it, September 10th, when Charlie Kirk was killed? Okay, so once he realized that as head of counterterrorism, that you weren't even part of any sort of investigation and there was nothing going on there and we weren't doing, but he's been sitting there just collecting a paycheck since then to now. So he's been fine with it all until now, but Iran is the line for him. Really? He was okay with what's going on in Gaza. He's okay with his, Charlie Kirk getting murdered and knowing how it happened and sort of sitting on the sidelines while that wasn't prosecuted. But now he's got a problem.
Well, this is exactly why I said from the top that it's very likely a self-serving move. But even if it is a self-serving move, it's still a move that is hurting Israel and the U.S. State Department equally in a very negative, profound way. It's the reaction that is making it even more detrimental to their case than if nothing was said.
He's the kind of person that from what I'm getting, okay, This is the kind of person that got permission to resign before resigning. This is somebody where it was a planned thing and he got permission and to do it. This is the kind of person that would get permission to go on strike. He didn't do this out of any sort of real defiance or upset about Iran. I'm sorry, I don't buy it. I don't buy it. I don't know what the reasoning is. I don't know, what maybe we'll never know, but no, he has been sitting through an unconscionable administration. And now he's got a country. I don't think so. So I don't know who's paying him or who's supporting him or who's prompting him or what his political aspirations are, but he's full shit.
Well, to be fair, I do think that there is something to be said for his decision to do what he's doing because it finally hit close to home. It hit close to home because of the fact that he has served in combat. And he knows that sending any service members over there, it's basically a death sentence. And now he cares about it.
You're really giving him benefit of the doubt, like that this was.
No, I'm only giving him. No, I'm saying it's self-serving. I'm saying I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt that he cares about the soldiers that are going to get killed. He didn't step down when Israel was committing a genocide against the Palestinian people because they're not as important. That's all I'm saying.
How about his country that he's, again, the head of counterterrorism, unilaterally murdering people in fishing boats in the Caribbean Sea?
What murder?
And he's okay with that. He's okay with that, right? Extrajudicial killings of people not even deemed to be terrorists. He's okay with that. But this was the bridge too far. Bullshit. I call bullshit. Anywho.
There will be a lot more that will come out about this, as I'm sure anyone who's been paying attention is going to. So like I said, it's not really a question of, do you like Joe Kent? That's not really the issue here. The issue is, does this move hurt Israel and the U.S. State Department? And to me, it absolutely does.